We're officially less than 2 weeks away from Giants training camp opening up, so I thought it would be a good idea to zoom out and try to predict and project what their 53-man roster will look like when they get ready to take on the Washington Commanders in Week 1. If you want the Giants to beat the Commanders, start 1-0 and get back in the playoffs, hit that thumbs up icon right now. Welcome in to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. My 53-man roster projection prior to training camp. Let's dive into it. I got a little bit spicy at the wide receiver spot. Didn't really know what to do at the linebacker spot, and I would not be shocked if the 53-man roster that comes out for the Giants immediately after cutdown day looks a little bit different than it does when they actually take the field for Week 1. The QBs. I think it's going to be pretty chalk here. Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Jaxson Dart. I just don't see a world where the New York Giants are going to keep 4 QBs heading into Week 1. I think the ideal situation for them is they release Tommy DeVito and they bring him back on the practice squad. Brian Daboll has talked about DeVito being the guy with the most seasoning of any quarterback on this team. He's been in the Brian Daboll offense now going on 3 years, and he likes having him in the room. But when you just crunch the numbers and you look at past trends, most teams don't keep 4 quarterbacks, and having DeVito on the practice squad would be awesome. Question becomes, once you release DeVito, does he get another job out there on an active roster, or does he want to go to somebody else's practice squad? That'll be interesting. I think he'll be back, though. At the running back position, I got him keeping 3 players as well. Tyrone Tracy Jr., Devin Singletary, and Cam Skattebo. Maybe the Giants get a little bit risky and try to keep 4 running backs. I just do not see it happening. I'm interested to see how the share of carries goes between Singletary, Tracy, and Skattebo. I know people have just suggested that it's Tracy and Skattebo's job. I'm not so quick to count out Motor Singletary. That means it is officially the end of the road for Eric Gray as an active roster member for Big Blue. Entering his 3rd year at Tennessee, or 4th year, 3rd or 4th year, I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. Nothing memorable about his career except dropping the passes, fumbling the football, and fumbling again. And I don't mean to be mean to Eric Gray, but he just hasn't been good enough. And if I am keeping a 4th running back, I'm keeping Dante Miller over him. He can return kicks. He's not going to fumble. He's a lot more explosive, and I just think the Eric Gray ship has sailed. At wide receiver, I didn't know what to do. Outside of Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Jalen Hyatt. You could write those guys 4 names in Sharpie. And there's 2 open spots. I think they keep 6. Maybe they keep 7. But I went with a UDFA. Dalen Cambry. You might be saying, Marshall, who the hell is Dalen Cambry? We did a full video breaking down Cambry and him standing out this offseason. Go check it out. He is a special team star. He's a slot receiver. And outside of Wan'Dale Robinson, you don't have another slot receiver. And I got Amir Smith-Marset making this team as well. He will be your punt returner and kick returner. I just felt like I needed someone on this roster at wide receiver that can contribute in special teams. They're going to be on the back end. I mean, is he going to make it over Antoine Juice Wells? Is Bryce Ford Wheaton finally going to crack the roster spot? Is little Jordan Humphrey going to make this team? Is Zach Pascal going to make this team? Is Daquan Felton? Is Bo Collins? I think that last roster spot is up for grabs, and I have the UDFA, the special team standout in college, Dalen Cambry, getting that final spot. On to tight ends. Theo Johnson and Chris Manhertz, I think, are locks. I got Daniel Bellinger grabbing that 3rd and final spot at tight end, and I thought about keeping 4 tight ends, but I'm going to roll with 3 at this point, which means that my guy, Thomas Fidone II, ultimately does not make the team. I think he'll be a priority, be brought back on special teams, and I would not be shocked if he does end up making the team. When you pick someone in the 7th round, it's always a question about what happens there, and I would not be shocked at all if he does make this team. I think there's some serious skill there, and he could use some years and some time on the practice squad to develop. I got Greg Dulcich on the outside looking in, even though he is good buddies with Russell Wilson. To the offensive line we go. Andrew Thomas, John Runyon, JMS, Greg Van Roten, and Jermaine Illuminor are all locks to be there. I think Marcus Bowe's making this team. I think James Hudson is making this team. Jake Kubis, they really like him. Aaron Stinney, he's back for a second year. Clearly, there's some liking of him. And I got Evan Neal making the team. I got 10 offensive linemen doing it. And my backups I chose specifically because they're versatile. Bo can play multiple positions. Evan Neal can play multiple positions. Stinney and Kubis can play multiple positions. But I do have Josh Azudu being cut, and I have Stone Forsythe, the guy that you signed early on in free agency to be a swing tackle, getting beat out by James Hudson, and he will end up not making this team. Hudson does. So there we go. Before we get to the defense, I want to ask you guys, 5.5 wins for the Giants this year. Type O for over, type U for under. Las Vegas thinks the Giants are a 5.5 win club. What say you? Give me your thoughts in the comments section. On to the defense, and let's start in the trenches. Sexy Dexy, you know he's going to be here. Best defensive tackle, maybe the best defensive player in all of football. Darius Alexander. I got Raheem Nunez-Roches making this team. He's been getting some snaps at nose tackle, so he could be the backup to Dexter Lawrence there. And I got the 2 veterans that they brought in free agency that have NFL experience making this team as well, and Roy Robertson-Harris and Jeremiah Ledbetter. Some people have talked about Ledbetter being a cut candidate. Long way to go in training camp. People are going to still be earning and fighting for roster spots, but I like what he put on tape specifically as a run stopper. And I think early on in drives on first and second down, he can make an impact for this team. I got some young guys getting cut, and that's just the nature of the beast. The Giants need to win games right now, and maybe Elijah Chapman makes a team who I like a lot. Would love to have him all on the practice squad. And I hope they get there. But I have them on the outside looking in. Again, things can change like that. Let's go to the edge department. Kind of throwing a wrench in here because Victor Dimukeje was somebody that I thought was going to be able to take another step in his development with the Giants. Had that nasty injury early on in the offseason. I think he'll probably start the season on the PUP list. Maybe he doesn't even play at all this year. Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, and Chauncey Golston are all locks to stay on this team, and I only have 4 edge rushers making it immediately. Maybe that opens up to 5, and Tommen Fox is that guy. He's been around for a couple of years. Maybe they look from the outside, other free agents and people that are cut to make it. 4 edge rushers seems a little bit light, and I think it is, but there wasn't really anyone else that I really wanted to put on this team. Fox made me almost do it, but ultimately I decided to move on. I got 5 inside linebackers, and maybe 1 too many here. This last spot is questionable with Ty Summers. He was on the team last year, did a lot of special teams work. He could easily be replaced by the other 2 guys we're going to show you in a second. But I think Okereke, McFadden, Muasau, and Deontay Johnson are all locks to make this team. And I think this 5th, if there is a 5th spot, is up for grabs. It could be Chris Board, who you brought in from the Baltimore Ravens. It could be Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, who you brought in from the San Francisco 49ers. Summers, Board, and Flanagan-Fowles are all special teams guys. That was kind of my train of thought with that final inside linebacker spot. So it could be any one of them. Maybe they just keep 4. I'd be fine with that, but you got to get to 53. I ended up keeping 7 DBs. And you know what? I think the Giants should. And I think it's Adebo, Banks, Phillips, Flott, Hawkins, Corey Black, and Art Green. Art Green is someone that kind of made some plays in the spring. Kind of made some standout plays. And made some people kind of change the tune of the way they were talking about him. I could see a situation where Trey Hawkins and Art Green are battling for that last spot. I got Corey Black making the teams as a special teams guy. Maybe Black is in and Green and Hawkins are in, or those final 3 guys could be fighting for 2 roster spots. It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds in training camp. At safety, I got 4 guys. Holland, Newbin, Belton, and Anthony Johnson Jr. I think they should be looking for another 4 safety. No disrespect to Anthony Johnson Jr. He's a solid player, but I think there could just be an upgrade there. But on the initial 53, I got 4 guys in the safety room, and the special team specialists, Graham Gano, Jamie Gillen, and Casey Kreider. Those are my 53-man roster projections. Make sure you are hooked up with this awesome Nike Giants t-shirt. Chatsports.com/Giants sale. That's chatsports.com/Giants sale. That link will be clickable in the comments and description. We showed you all 53 players I think are going to make the roster before training camp being here. How good do you think that roster is? Grade it. Get out the red pen. 1 to 100. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I think it's a much improved team. I think it's a team that can be competitive every single Sunday. We'll
We'll see if they're ready to compete for a wild card spot. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram @MarshallGreen_.